In this video, I will go into the depths of the hentai industry and how dark and twisted the industry can really get. So stay tuned throughout this video as I will go through the video iceberg style from the normal / vanilla side of things to transitioning down to I need to bleach my eyes after watching that. So without further ado, let's get started with common terms just to get you up to speed with the lingo that is thrown around in this industry. As you should probably already guess, is pornographic content but through the means of anime and manga. Originated from the Japanese term hentai seiyoku, which translates to sexual perversion or just pervert in some cases. Ecchi is another term that is thrown around in this industry. It does not depict any kind of pornographic content that would be similar to hentai. Instead, it is softcore and it has suggestive scenes that have you guessing that these guys might do something, but they don't end up doing anything. Doujinshi is another word which is really hard to pronounce, and it means self-published. But this does not necessarily mean hentai, but it can be a spin-off for some kind of anime, which could be some kind of fan service. But usually it's just self-published by an author. Eroge is another term which means a Japanese genre for an erotic video games. Before we get ourselves into the depths and trenches of what bewaits us, let's get familiar with some of its history and writers / illustrators who actually started out creating hentai. So, like High School of the Dead, the illustrator Soji Sato started out creating ecchi style manga, works like Triage X, where hot nurses band together to kill the cancers of the world. The artist for Dr. Stone also had a past for creating a plethora of hentai manga. The earliest use of hentai was used in a post about Ranma in 1990. The Dream of the Fisherman's Wife is the first known example of tentacle corn. Shunga first formed in the Edo period of 1603 to 1868, and collecting these were a common pastime, as it wasn't very taboo back then. Now as you get up to speed with the modern day and all it has to bring, there are crevices of the internet that only some dare to venture into. And as a disclaimer, I'm not endorsing anyone to go out of their way and explore some of the content I'm about to share in this video. This is purely for educational and entertainment purposes. In fact, I hope that by the end of this video, you will be grateful that you haven't fallen into the depths of hedonism and the depravity of some of these mangas, hentais, or whatever it has to bring. Because at the end of the day, they are just 2D illustrations conjured from the imagination of someone no different from me or you. Starting with Kimono Mimi, humanoid characters who appear almost entirely human, but possess animal features such as ears, tails, fangs, or claws. So kind of like a furry, but they aren't fully covered in fur. Commonly, these characters are depicted as cat girls, dog girls, fox girls, and rabbit girls. Pretty Derby and Kimono Friends, just to name a couple, are very popular shows in this genre, both sharing the idea of souls from animals reincarnating into the bodies of humans who now retain ears over their head. It's kind of like an isekai, but not really, because an isekai refers to a soul being brought into a brand new world, where in this case, it's a soul from the same world being reincarnated into the body of a person. Funtanari is a Japanese term that translates to dual form or hermaphrodite. Predominantly refers to a fictional character archetype in anime, manga, and adult media who possess both female and male physical attributes, such as a feminine body and a fully functioning pee. Yeah, nothing to say more about that one. Tsundere. A tsundere character generally masks his romantic or sexual interest in someone by acting tough, sharp-tongued, or even physically aggressive out of shyness or embarrassment. When applied to a hentai, the tsundere trope typically features a storyline where a naughty character vehemently denies her attraction to the protagonist. Then the narrative or sexual scenario then focuses on breaking through that stubborn, standoffish facade to reveal their highly passionate, vulnerable, and devoted side. Kind of like a great type of like anime when the character doesn't get what he wants, so then he forces his way into getting what he wants and that whole thing. Hinyu and Bakuyu. This is where we get into fetishes and kinks. These two words translates to tiny breasts and large breasts. This is a genre that more often has a fetish for exaggerating the size of women's breasts being flat or big, as the name describes. And there's nothing more to say about that. Lolly and Shota. This is when the artist creates a character that is depicted as very young, and usually it's a girl. This is where hentai draws the line for most people, as it very much resembles CP and gives way to fetishes that people should not be having towards children. And although this is very frowned upon, depictions of young characters in hentai is very easy to do, since the artist can just claim that the character is actually older than they look, since it's all just made up anyway, and they can somehow try to get away with this sort of style. Rayona is a Japanese term and subculture referring to a fetish or theme in which characters predominantly female are subjected to extreme physical, psychological, or sexual abuse, torture, and domination. The word is a blend of the Japanese terms ryoki, seeking the bizarre, and onani, masturbation. Guro. Now this is where things get pretty gut-wrenching, so be warned. In Japanese media like anime and manga, guro, derived from the English word grotesque, refers to a subgenre that focuses on horror, gore, and extreme bodily mutilation. When combined with eroticism, it is known as iroguro. As you can already imagine, it is pretty disgusting to look at, and some of these mangas that you will see if you do decide to search it up are something you should try to avoid. Unbirthed. And if you thought it couldn't get any worse, Unbirthed is exactly what it says it is. Whoever thought of creating this genre clearly is a psycho, because it depicts usually a controlling mother who stuffs her kids, or people for that matter, in her womb. Or in some cases, it's a sister grabbing her tiny brother and putting him inside of her. Yeah, and maybe there's more weirder genres and fetishes out there, but I don't think it's worth really mentioning, as I think I've already covered the main ones. This is literally the bottom of the bucket when it comes to sexual degeneracy, and where people's imaginations just run wild. Now that you can see how hyperstimulating the whole industry of hentai really gets and is, and how it continuously power levels the boundaries of what is normal to a degenerate level, we have to ask the fundamental questions. Why? Why are we creating such crazy, fucked up hentai? And why are these artists seemingly just wasting their skills and artistic abilities on something that is so frowned upon?
Money!